Cass, if you could get ready to just like wipe a tear or something, it might help you. But we have a premiere date for The Last of Us Season 2. Just hold on, everybody. Just let's get. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna be strong. We're gonna get through this. Some of us, might have,
trauma.
A bit of a. Hold on, I gotta like do my thing here as well. But yes, so.
Oh, that's cool screenshot.
It's
The Last of Us Season 2 is going to be arriving April 13th on HBO Max. For those of you that enjoyed the first season of the show, it was something truly magical, especially for those of you who were fans of the game series. I know I was one, at least for the first one. And then, the second one happens.
Exists.
It does. It definitely exists. Let me see. I've got some statements from the actors. So yeah, this should be. Well, we don't have a Last of Us 3, so this may not be the final season of this show, but it definitely comes to an end in the gaming series. But we're getting some new posters. Max has been posting those on social media networks. And I just hate this one that's like, it's got a picture of Joel and it says, every path has its price.
Can we just like say we might do some spoilers and actually talk about it?
No, we're not going to talk about that. No, we're not going to talk about that.
I think we should talk about it when it comes out.
I would say the first, that's all really, it's premiering April 13th on Max. It's going to be one episode per week as they previously did it. But, I just got to ask some of the people here who are fans of that. How accurate do you think the first season of the show was to the first game? Like, do you think it was a pretty...
Cass knows this better than I do, because I played the game but not.
Excuse me, but Cass?
A ton.
So...
How legit compared...
Accurate's a tricky word.
Well, I don't want to say accurate, but let's just say... expanded the lore, definitely gave the game its due. I think so.
In line with the story of the game, 100%. With the story that the game was trying to tell, 100%. Accuracy, not 100%.
Well, there were extra things that were added in. I love some
episode, was it 3?
Yes.
Completely different than anything that we saw.
Yeah,
loved it.
Exactly.
It was so good.
It had the tone and the soul of the game.
There you go.
Soul's
That's what I wanted. So take that into consideration that, season 2's coming in April.
They even said that there's stuff that got deleted from the second game that is going to take place. They also said that they're probably doing 4 seasons. So the next 3 will be Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
Which...
I think there's enough time to tell that story. Just considering how they stretched out the first one.
Part 2 the second game is so long.
It really is.
You can do 3 seasons of it.
So yeah, I'm
excited. We were talking about this last night. There's one easy way to do 3 seasons off the second game. But I don't know if that's right.
The most minor spoilers possible. There's one very large section of the first one where you're following the same person. One very large section where you're following a different person.
Right.
And then one very large section that's kind of back and forth.
And that's why I could see that what you're saying about
that's the easiest way to
perfectly line up with 3 seasons. I really hope they don't do that.
Really?
Personally. Because I don't think, if you're talking about the second protagonist, I do not think an entire season from the first protagonist's point of view and then going into the second protagonist, I think I would have even harder of a time than I did connecting with that character.
I
think it'd be way easier.
Maybe.
I kind of don't want to flip-flop, but the game did it fine, so...
The game, I'm wondering if it's going to be an episode going back and forth. Could also do that.
I think that'd be very hard to do. And it makes me wonder why 2 seasons of that. Like, I think we agree that the third season is both of them.
Regardless. The part that takes place in California, I believe.
Yeah.
But like, why do it? Especially since like Neil Druckmann, like he redeemed this whole like weird ass storyline in the first season with it's just kind of nothing with Nick Offerman and
absolutely.
Like, so he redeemed that to be a full whole story. And it wasn't like actively irritating in the first game, but it just wasn't really anything.
It was
just kind of a sideline.
His character in the game is a cautionary tale to Joel, right? What if you completely separate yourself from humanity?
Right.
And in the TV show, he's not a cautionary tale. He kind of is, but in the opposite direction. What if you completely give yourself over?
He's a love story.
Person? Yeah. And the love story of The Last of Us is so dangerous because you get to the end of the first game, and why do you make the decision that you do? Because of the love. And so, like, I loved that aspect of it. He's a cautionary tale in both of them, but in very different ways.
In one of them, I would argue that he's not a cautionary tale in the TV show at all. It's this is what life is about your love, which makes the end of the first season make sense.
It does.
Like, it's a preview. Almost.
I completely agree with that. He also, doomed the world.
Well, sure, that happened.
Sometimes.
I mean, a little bit.
Sometimes you gotta.
But like, also a little bit fuck the rest of the world in a way that I'm not usually a part of. I'm just like, sometimes you gotta doom the whole world because they're wrong about so much.
I will say I've said this before. I cried every episode but one in the first season.
She didn't cry at the Nick Offerman episode. Weirdly.
Not one damn tear.
She bawled. She was crying so hard.
Out.
There's like
I expect a teary phone call around April 13th. So
you're not going to hear from me for 6 days. Like, I'm going to go comatose.
Here's the thing. Neither Cass nor I are ashamed of our grown-up emotions, but there is like an awkwardness to somebody bawling sitting beside you that you just like,
feet away,
I'll give you an example. When we're playing Ragnarok, this is a minor Ragnarok spoiler.
First 20 minutes.
It's the first hour of gameplay. Yeah. His son's dog dies. Yeah. Wolf dog. Well, my cat died. Like a year and a half ago. And we were playing it probably 9 months ago. And just watching the cutscene of it just got to me. And I already knew it would happen. I'd already played through that, but got to me. And when he's sitting there with his son, and his son's like, it's okay, you can go, blah, blah, blah. I started bawling, and Cass was the one playing. We played it together. She turned around and was like, isn't it funny? And she saw my face with tears streaming down. She was like,
okay. And then neither of us spoke for the next 20 minutes.
Like, we just don't particularly.
You politely ignore the person bawling next to you.
We
tears
don't
to me,
want
okay?
To be
like my hero.
To you.
Yeah, I mean,
this is, we have an audience sometimes up to 3 or 4 people.
One of my idols in wrestling, one of the toughest son of bitches around there, Macho Man Randy Savage. Yes. I remember as a kid hearing him say, it's okay for macho men to show every emotion available right there.
Love
because
that.
I've cried 1,000 times and I'll cry some more. But I've soared with the eagles and I've slithered with the snakes, and I know the best is still yet to come. So that reached me as a kid.
If you've never seen that clip after the show, look it up.
Oh,
it's
when he's on
incredible.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can show every emotion. That's okay. You can be a macho man and show every emotion.
And I'll be showing every emotion April 13th.
April 13th,
then
let's
again
go.
April 22nd. It's going to be a hard little couple of weeks because that's when Andor
I knew we would spend
starts.
a lot of time on this one just because this is
it's
something
one of my favorite
all
games,
excited
TV
for.
shows.
Yeah, I mean, the second game, I brought it over to you. I was like, we'll talk later, and I just left.
I remember we were quarantined, we were all, and he just kind of brought it.
I finished, and I was like, I gotta go.
6 feet
I'm
apart.
going
It
home.
was I want the redemption of the story of the second protagonist who's not
Yeah.
that popular. And actually them not sticking with the physical casting gives me some hope in you have a different direction, you have a fuller thing that you're going to do.
Definitely doing it on purpose.
Probably just end up doing an episode on this. Anyway, that's it for me. Last of Us.
I mean, we did
April
a review
13th
of the
on
game.
Max.
We'll probably talk
So
about the
yeah.
show.